Now to politics of a different kind, the rough and tumble world of student politics, where passions run hot and experience runs low. Traditionally, it was students from the left who maintained an image of outrageous provocateurs, but lately there have been more questions raised about the behaviour of student liberals. Two young documentary makers have been recording the political behaviour of a small group of student liberals from James Cook University. One of the group is 21-year-old Jessica Webber, the Liberal Party's candidate for the state seat of Townsville. And a warning, some of the language and images in this report could be offensive to viewers.
The brutal cauldron of student politics. It's forged the political careers of several Australian Prime Ministers, including John Howard. He remains the patron of the Australian Liberal Students' Federation.
He's assaulted me. He told me.
These are two Liberal students being forcibly ejected from the National Union of Students conference last November. A small group of Liberal students, some from James Cook University in Townsville, deny they went along to provoke trouble in the largely leftist student union body. At the time, it was debating one of the biggest issues in student politics since the Vietnam War, the end of compulsory student unionism.
This is a victory for every student in Australia who's been denied the same right that every other worker is being given.
Jessica Webber is the Liberal Party's endorsed candidate for the state seat of Townsville. Last year, as a member of the James Cook Student Council, she organised for 6 Liberal students to go to the National Students Conference as observers. The year before, radical Liberal students sang the national anthem during a welcome speech by an Aboriginal elder. This year, they waited until after his speech had ended. Brodie Payton-Smith was one of 5 delegates elected by the student body from James Cook University to attend the national conference. He was ashamed of the Liberal students' treatment of Elder Ted Lovett.
Half the people that went down last year, end of last year, went down the year before as well and did the same thing to him. So we went up and spoke to him and said that they didn't really represent the students at James Cook and that what they'd done was quite disgusting, and then 10 minutes later they'd done the same thing again.
The latest revelations of bad behaviour by student Liberals come on top of claims by a whistleblower from the movement that extreme right-wing ideology is squeezing out moderate Liberals at every level.
The Liberal students traditionally were always the extreme end of right-wing attitudes associated with the Liberal Party. Now these sort of attitudes are increasingly being seen within internal party fora, and increasingly we're seeing this sort of anti-intellectualism, this sort of conservatism laced with bigotry being espoused by people who hold senior office bearer positions within the party.
At the conference, radical student Liberals amused themselves with a chant designed to antagonise the left-wing membership of the National Union of Students. They wore T-shirts with John Howard on the front and "Shut Up" augmented by an expletive on the back.
They thought the best way to provoke them was to walk around the hallways saying we're sexist, we're racist, we're homophobic, because most of the people down there are quietly liberally minded, where they sort of embrace homosexuality and people from other races, and so for them it was quite offensive in a situation where a lot of people were quite upset.
The student Liberals claimed they were unfairly silenced at the conference and acted out of frustration.
Despite the fact that we are gagged by conference floor, despite the fact that when our speakers get up to speak, conference floor comes up and passes business committee passes motions to ban them, and we don't have, freedom of speech here. Despite all of that, Liberals have always come here and have fought for the rights of students.
But material shot by student filmmakers Vanessa Hughes and Jessica Tyrrell shows that the Liberals' Townsville candidate was allowed to speak, in spite of being just an observer.
As I've already said, my name's Jess. I'm from the mob that run the country. I'm going to make this short and sweet, much like the future of this organisation. I'd just like to say I'd like to turn down this motion just for the fact that the only time this organisation has bothered to visit my campus was during our election time. And I am appalled by this apparent waste of money of this organisation.
Jessica Webber declined to talk to us on camera.
I would remind Congress that intoxicated persons are not allowed on the floor.
The Queensland Young Liberals and the Parliamentary Party also ducked the chance to put their associates' actions in perspective. except to say the Australian Liberal Students' Federation is a separate organisation, although endorsed by the PM. But the students at the conference made their feelings clear.
Grow up! Elliot! Oi, say hello to everyone back there at JCU! Put me on film! Put me on film! Hello JCU, you're finally getting your money back for these things!
The young Liberals is sort of, I think it needs to be looked at how it's being run. It's sort of run more like a cult.
It is a certainty that people who are coming to political maturity in this environment will one day be seen in the Houses of Parliament.
Karen Berkman reporting there, and a spokesman for the Liberal Party's State Director's Office says at this stage Jessica Webber's endorsement is secure and she's guilty of nothing more than youthful exuberance. Now to a look at one of the biggest sporting events to be hosted in this state.